Today's the day we're going to do the camshaft break-in. Camshaft break-in. Get my mouth to work right. And Dad's here, so he's actually here to sort of run for the first time. Yes, I did fire it off, make sure it made some noise. Installed an exhaust system of sorts, so don't make the neighbors mad because I got to fight nice with them. Fill it up with coolant, fill it up with transmission fluid. Have a small coolant leak from the water pump. I mean, overnight, it left the puddle about that big. Tried to reuse the original water pump because I just don't like or trust replacement ones, but it had a nice, clean, tight bearing feel to it, but made a mistake. But instead of just replacing the water pump and then running it and find I had other problems, I've determined that it's not leaking bad enough that we're going to give it a go. Get this camshaft broke in, make sure I don't have any of the issues, and then we'll come back and replace the water pump. Let me show you a few things here before we get things going. Well, we'll do a quick little walk around. The carburetor is a rebuilt by me. Hopefully it's going to work out. I have plugged off any unused vacuum ports at this point now. Still undecided what I'm going to do here, but I did plug off our coolant passage for now. That way that's good. So I was able to fill it full of antifreeze and coolant mix 50-50. And then I noticed that I had a small puddle forming under the car. It's pretty minor, but you can tell I've got some leakage. So I don't think it's bad enough that I'm going to have any problem doing my break-in, but that's something that I wanted to keep an eye on. Did fill it full of power steering fluid. Same idea, that way I can run that system, make sure it's not going to leak. It's a whole heck of a lot easier to service that now than once it's all back into the car. So I know at this point we'll have to probably do the water pump. Transmission, I went ahead and put it all on here, right out of the cooler lines, all the way up here to the radiator. I did put some transmission fluid in it for now, about 4.5 quarts. So I'm going to run it, get it filled up, topped off, and while we're doing the camshaft break-in, check it for leaks too. It was just rebuilt, so it's rebuilt doesn't mean it's good. It just means that we need to do some testing on it. That's what we're going to do. That's why I have it all assembled like you see here, so we can do just that. Run it through a few heat cycles, check it for leaks, make sure everything's going to work. And like I said, we've got to put a water pump on our list so far, but hopefully no other issues. Went ahead and installed the exhaust system with some makeshift mufflers. Thanks for a scrap metal bin. Found these monstrous things, but they're going to work for testing, so it makes this thing a little bit quieter. So at this point, I have routed a fuel line off of the fuel pump right there into our fuel can right there. Pull it right in. So that right now our fuel system is still dry. So I'm going to probably end up priming it with that, fill the fuel bowl up in the carburetor, and at that point, hopefully then the fuel pump should start pumping fuel up here and keep this thing running. Now, the idea when breaking in the camshaft is we're going to have this thing run for 20 minutes at 2,000 RPMs. And that 20 minutes can be 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time, or if everything's doing really good, keep on trucking and go ahead and do the full 20 minutes. Now, if you didn't see how I hot wired this in the last video, go check that out. But I'm going to do the same thing. Hook the battery up here, hook up my jumper wires, turn the ignition on, bump the starter. But in this case, though, we're going to have this fuel system primed. It should continue to run as long as I don't have any problems. That's what we're going to find out here right quick. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do I go through all the trouble putting that radiator, the engine, transmission, power steering? Everything I plan to use on this car has now been installed during my break-in process. So for me, in my mind, I have now load tested, function tested, temperature cycled, everything. Even if it was a new part, doesn't mean anything besides it hasn't been installed. It doesn't guarantee that it's good. So yes, my engine run stand is basically just a subframe that I already have, so I'm not buying another tool sitting around in my garage. This is the perfect place to do everything. I'm actually checking engine mounts. Everything's all going to work. So if it passes my break-in scenario here to do that camshaft, then I know it's good to put back on my car. At this point, then I can go check box on all of my systems. So some people would ask why I didn't have an engine run stand, because I guess in my mind, I don't need one because I have one right here. So once this is all broken and happy, then I can stab right back on there and have pretty good confidence that it should perform with no problems. But let's just say we did have a problem. We know we have a water pump issue, but let's just say the rear main started leaking, or I had a transmission, didn't even apply the gears. It's a whole heck of a lot easier to swap it out now. So this is the why.
Yeah.
Now I've got my jump wires hooked up here. Got the battery hooked up, and it's out of the video frame, but trust me, it's right there. All I got to do is touch the one lead. We'll do the start. The other lead does the ignition. So if I go ahead and do that now, I want to crank over, but I don't have ignition on. I don't have any gas in it yet either. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up with some fuel, and I'm going to dump it there in the vent of the carburetor.
Yeah, that vent's so right here.
Yeah.
That air can go down through there, right in there, and into the top of the fuel bowl. So if you pour it in there, that will fill the bowl up. Yeah, and of course, in use, you don't want any bugs to crawl in there.
Yeah. Get dirt daubers and plug it up. All right, now I'm going to do just like we said. This is my favorite way to do it. Take an old paint cap. Now, they can probably make little funnels you could probably do this with. That should be enough to see if this thing will make some noise. Okay. Right, now, once we get this started, though, let's keep an eye on some things. That carburetor is unknown. Transmission is unknown. Technically, this engine is unknown. So we have to monitor things. Look for leaks. Something starts smoking. Something burning. Anything out of the ordinary. We have to stay on top of it. But I'm going to go ahead and see what happens here. Should crank. And then once I put the ignition on, I'm going to turn that on now, hooking that to the battery. This should go. I watched. Right. Check a few things. Gotta check a few things here, just because, of course, burning all the stickers off the exhaust, stuff's coming out the tailpipes. But
yeah,
no, you got your timer. Did you stop the timer?
No.
Just pause the timer. Hit pause.
Well, I can hit stop.
Yeah, and it should be able to resume that. So we're
that water pump might seat itself in with a little bit of running.
It might. It's not a horrible leak.
So it might be that it might kind of fix itself.
But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to look for major puddles or anything coming out of it here. Again, 20 minutes. Ideally, continuous run, but I just thought maybe it's worth stopping. There's too many unknowns here. I have an unknown fuel system, unknown carburetor. I don't see any fuel leaks. That looks pretty good. Started right off, so I'm happy with that. I have no transmission leaks from my cooler lines. This is why running it like this, I have complete visibility of everything during the break-in process. So there's definitely an advantage to it. Coolant, I expect to have an issue. We've only got about 2 minutes of runtime on it, which isn't very long.
But it should circulate a little bit and burp any air out.
Yeah, I'm still dripping a little bit of antifreeze. I'm looking, say, here. And no pressure on it, so we're okay.
Yeah, this is still on the...
Still full?
It's at the add.
Yeah, we're still very full here on the radiator.
Yeah, it's on add. But that's okay to run.
Yeah. I don't think the transmission sucked any fluid down yet. I'll check it, because before it was reading a little bit up. Power steering pulled it way down. Now it's starting to foam the fluid, so I need to top
it needs to a little more then. We don't really want it foaming.
Nope. I'm wondering how that's looking. When I said it was touching the stick. I wonder if it drew it down some. I feel pretty good. That means the pump's working and
circulating.
Things are happening.
Yeah. Well, you put a little bit in the converter too.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, it's down because Yeah, I'm not seeing any.
All right, so I see that we need to top off the transmission.
It's about a 1/4 inch on the end.
Yeah, so we need to top off the transmission, top off the power steering, and then we'll go ahead and start this thing right back up. Well, we've accomplished everything we want to do. Antifreeze is good, power steering's topped off, put some transmission fluid, engine oil is good, nothing else puddling on the floor. Still got a couple drops of coolant, but we're going to start it back up, start our timer back up, and see about calculating some more time on the clock. Okay. 3. Oh, you're hanging down kind of low.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't want
that may not be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know what I'm going to do the area there. Okay.
All right. Contact. Maybe. Oop. Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, we made it 5.5 minutes. I saw the heater core hose bypass here bouncing a little bit. And I don't have a temperature gauge, so I'm going off of the gut feel how hot we are. So we shut it down. Dad popped the cap loose. It burped a little bit. But we're not boiling out. It didn't come out of my makeshift overflow on the floor. So I figured since we shut it off again for a minute, I'm going to climb around here, check again for leaks. But we're 1/4 of the way there, and our water pump has picked up a little more steam, meaning it's leaking a little faster now. So unfortunately, the water pump isn't going to heal it. So, but we'll let this cool off for a minute. I'm going to check a few more things, and we'll go at it again. All right. Well, since we're taking a little bit of a break, I'm going to climb underneath the underside of the car here, and then check the part that I'm mostly concerned about. Is this rear main seal? But right now, nothing. 100% dry. So my static test passed, and so far dynamically running, no issues there. So it's looking pretty good here on the bottom sides. Besides my water pump leak, so far, so good. Almost halfway. I'm going to shut it off and give it its well-deserved break. Ta-da! There you go. 20 minutes of hot madness. I'll tell you what, hanging out there close to that exhaust, it was getting just a bit warm for me. But the only thing I'm seeing is that water pump. And we knew that about that before. So give us a few minutes to cool down. I'm going to check the transmission fluid, check the power steering. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to run this transmission, put it in gear, and see if that thing goes the forward ways, the backwards ways, the no ways. Hopefully it should stop. And if we can get it going fast enough, maybe see a change in speed, see if we get a 1-2 shift out of it. But successful. I am super happy with that. I didn't even boil over this time. I normally have problems with the cars boiling over. This car did not. So super happy with that. I don't know about you, but I'm a whole lot happier knowing now that was actually honestly a lot of stress for me. Breaking into camshafts, all these horrible nightmare stories, things going wrong and crazy. Now, we're not out of the woods, and I say it doesn't mean we're not going to wipe out a camshaft, but so far, so good. Even though I let off that thing off wide open for 2,000 RPM forever, and by the way, that was very hot, it actually idled. I haven't even adjusted that carburetor yet. That's just me out of the box, rough adjustment. So I think it's going to work out fine. We do some twisting on that too, and I'll get the camera, of course, show you all that. But the reason you crank this thing up 2,000 RPM is?
Well, that's the lubrication business. You know, those parts have never been together, and they're now thrown into marriage in there, and they got to learn to live with each other. So we got to kind of knock off the rough edges. Yeah. So anyway, that the cam and the piston rings and the cylinders, that's all part of the splash oil lubricating system. The oil that's coming off of the bearings out of the crankshaft, you know, the main journals and the crank pins and all that, that oil did lubricating work at those locations. It got pumped in there through the system, but then the centrifugal force flies it off, and that's part of the splash oil system. It goes up onto the camshaft for the where the lifters ride on the lobes, not on the bearings of the camshaft. Those are still pressure fed, same as the stuff on the crankshaft. But things like the piston rings and the that's all splash oil systems. So we got to get that.
Pins, piston rings, and cam lobes are all splash oil.
All splash oil system, yeah.
Yep.
So that we need to get that slung in there good when those parts, they got to have their honeymoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to mix it up just right to make it happen. And then of course the oil does not only just lubricate, it helps cool it too. So
yes.
it pulls some of the heat off of it. So I'm going to call that mission successful as for our initial break-in. We're going to do a few more things before we get out of here today. I'm going to make sure that transmission goes into gear because, again, that's another piece of unknown equipment we have installed in this vehicle. So before I attach this back to that, I want check boxes on everything before I go through all that trouble. All right. For those who want to know, including myself, after 20 minutes of runtime, look at the rear of that oil pan. Rear main, absolutely zero film or buildup or anything. So, Glenn, it's working. That's an inside joke for those who know, but nonetheless, super happy with that. So the only thing I've got dripping down here on the underside, you see some drips of coolant across that front edge, but we know that's the water pump, so I can deal with that. Now, we've got the transmission fluid top back off. I want to have Dad start this thing up. Then I'm going to see if this thing goes to the gears. Right now it's in park. It don't turn at all. So go ahead and start it up, and we'll see if this thing goes forward and backwards.
Okay, here goes the ignition.
Yeah, hot.
We now have sparkies. Okay, and here comes the starter. You ready?
Yeah, we'll find out if I hit the gas or not. Okay, I love it. That works. Now, I'm going to pull this first click. Should be reversed. Yep, that's going backwards. Look at that. Now, next click is neutral. It's still going to drag. That's second gear or drive. So that's first, second, neutral. And I'll go to reverse and should go the other way. Now I don't want to put it in park till I shut it off, but it does go forward and backwards. So I don't know if I'll go. I can't tell if it shifts or not. Yeah, I can't tell. But it does engage, so I'm going to call that good. So I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to call that a victory. Hey, Dad, how does that make you feel to hear that?
Yeah, it really sounds good, doesn't it?
It runs nice for a little two-barrel. So I'm telling you, that might be okay. Okay.
Oh, I think so. I'm happy. Yeah.
Burnt some of the paint off the heads, which is the way the nature of the beast. Heat crossover, same thing. It's got a little discolored. But all in all, super, super happy. This is one of the first times I've done one of these engines and didn't puke out any coolant while doing that. Zero. And of course, I had a leaky water pump, so I guess I should have a leaky water pump for now. But I think I'll skip that. But we're going to get a water pump put on this. That gives me the green light now. Transmission goes to the gears. Power steering is not foamed up. Engine sounds great. Coolant circulating. Carburetor's fine. Ignition's fine. That rear main seal 100% dry at this point, so clean bill of health. So we're going to proceed now. Next videos here, we're going to be working on moving things in the garage, make some room in this little tiny space to put this back on that. So definitely don't want to miss that. So don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends to see us that we're doing here in the Vinyl Village Garage, hanging out with Dad. And of course, wherever we get it next time, we'll grab the camera. Hope to get you all then.